So you're hiking 8,000 miles for conservation. That's basically how I approached this interview with Wesley Megaman Tills, an exceptionally experienced thru hiker planning to spend roughly 1.5 years hiking from the furthest easternmost to westernmost points in the contiguous United States on a trail that he came up with. I'm your host, Yeti Legs, and you're listening to Yeti Walks into Base Camp, a podcast for thru hikers, backpackers, hikers, tree huggers, and really anyone who just loves to walk outside. In this episode, I chat with Megaman about his hiking credentials and why we shouldn't be too concerned for him hiking through an entire winter season, his motivation behind hiking for conservation, why he believes it's more important now than ever, how he likens the continual blows to our country's environmental and conservation protections to a boxer in the fighting ring, and we end with a positive note to make a real change in our world. We hope you enjoy the episode and learning more about this epic walk for nature, or as Mega Man likes to call it, a walk for the wild. What's going on, folks? Tramily. This is Yeti Legs, your host for the podcast Yeti Walks into Base Camp, talking through hiking. This is a very special Environmental Corner episode today. You're not going to be hearing me talk about a whole bunch of scientific jargon or listing off statistics or reading articles today. Today, we are going to hear basically what this guy, who I have on my show today, is going to do, because this is some crazy shit that this guy is going to do. And he's doing it for an epic cause. We really wanted to have him on the show so that he could tell us what he's doing, why he's doing it, and maybe you can follow him along and support his journey as well, because it's all about the natures, isn't it? I got here with me another Wesley Tills, aka Megaman. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Nice to be on here, Yeti.
I actually have never met Megaman in real life. So in our podcast, we've talked about this other hiker. His name is Crush. Well, Crush was on Instagram and he posted some story about this guy and had a picture of a really long trail going across the United States from east to west. And I was like, what is this? And who is this guy? And so I stumbled upon Megaman and I saw his project. And so here I am talking to you. First of all, I want to hear who you are and what you've done as far as hiking and backpacking goes. So let it rip.
All right. So yeah, my name is Wesley Tills. I am born in Blue Springs, Missouri, which is a suburb of Kansas City, Missouri. I have 10 siblings. My mom's from Denmark, so I'm a Danish American. And I got into thru hiking. I mean, in a way, I got into thru hiking in 2014, but it really took off for me in 2016. So the Appalachian Trail in 2016, going Sobo. The PCT 2017, Nobo. CDT 2018, going Nobo. 2019 was a year off. 2020, I did a route that I called the Black Hills route from Devil's Tower through the Badlands and the Black Hills. Then I did the Triple O, the Washita Trail, Ozark Highlands Trail, and Ozark Trail, the Mattahay Trail, the Black Hill Centennial Trail, Superior Hiking Trail, Florida Trail. Went off to do my own Mexico to Canada route called the Fourth Crown Route. Combined the Arizona Trail with the Idaho Centennial Trail, the River to River Trail, the Tahoe Rim Trail, Hayduke Trail, Knobstone Hiking Trail, Mojave Sonoran Trail, and I think that's all of them at the moment. So yeah.
Bless. That's a lot of trails, man.
It's a little bit over 15,000. A lot of those are pretty short, but I was trying to find the longest trails in every physiographic region was a lot of it. And so the interior plains, your Midwest and Great Plains, there's routes that are pretty long, but as far as trails go, the longest trail in that region is the Mattahay Trail, which is 144 miles. So it's a long trail, but it's a short, long trail.
Got you. What, of that list, not considering length, what has been the most difficult, so most technical trail that you've done? Is it the Hayduke?
No. I mean, the Fourth Crown route definitely was the most technical. and then I'd probably say the Mojave Sonoran Trail. It's like 600 miles, and about 14 of it is trail, and the rest is either route finding or like two-track road. But yeah, that had like some low fifth class climbing in there where you had to take off your backpack and stuff. And yeah, the Hayduke was like, I don't know. I mean, like it was pretty easy, I thought, until I think it's like section 7. Whenever you're like going back down to the Grand Canyon for the third time, that one was like it was just a long haul, and so like we ended up running out of food, and then we had to yogi from some river rats to throw us their food and beer from their boats. But yeah, that beside like that section was tough, and then everything else was like not too bad, I thought, in my opinion.
Okay. And I need to emphasize that this Fourth Crown Trail is one that you completely made up.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of bushwhacking. Yeah.
What did it piggyback on any existing long trails? What was
Yeah.
the general route?
Yeah, so you start in Mexico and you're on the Arizona Trail. So you take the Arizona Trail up to the Grand Canyon, and then you jump. I was gonna jump on the Hayduke Trail, but they had just closed the North Rim the day that I got there. So instead, I took the Tonto Trail down to Elves Chasm. It took me 3 days of hitching on the river to be able to hitchhike 28 miles down the river. So I was stuck in the Grand Canyon for 3 days, and then I was back on the Hayduke Trail, and it was flash floods and everything. Kanab Creek, that was pretty crazy, but I made it out. And yeah, once we're done the Hayduke Trail, then you kind of finish your way through Utah, going westward to get into Nevada. And then it's just like basin and range. You're hitting as many mountain ranges as you can to get your water, and working your way from kind of down near Panaca all the way up to Jarbidge, Nevada. And then from there, you jump on the Idaho Centennial Trail, and that just takes you right through the gut of Idaho. The only issue with it is it ends 1/4 mile from the Canadian border. And I wasn't, I went from Mexico. I was like, I'm not going to finish there. And that 1/4 mile was insane because it was just like the side of a mountain where I had to like grab onto the trees that were hanging off on the side and swing from one to the other, and then tumble down 15, 20 feet, grab and gravel my way back up. And I thought I was having a heart attack at one point because half my body was shutting down. I was like, oh man, I'm getting like a stroke heart attack thing going on. But yeah, sure enough, I made it, and that was pretty cool. So
You're saying all this stuff, and there's inflection in your voice, but you're not being dramatic about it. You're just being very calm. This is not normal stuff that you're doing out here. Like, this is above and beyond the normal hiker, and especially even through hikers skill set. Where did you pick up like your rafting skills and practically rock climbing, and I'm sure even mountaineering skills just over time?
yeah, I guess so. Just kind of improvising. I mean, I didn't raft so much down the Colorado River. People were rafting for me. I was hitching down on their raft, but I mean, they let me raft for like 4 miles, but mostly it was them doing the work. But I mean, yeah, climbing. I putz around and stuff. Uh, yeah, like I'm pretty comfortable with like low fifth class climbing, like free soloing kind of stuff. Like I did the Grand Teton after the CDT, like the day after. My friend picked me up and just in hiking gear and everything, climbed up the Upper Exum route, which I think is like a 5.5. And that yeah. So I'm kind of used to that kind of stuff, I guess, at this point. But like, yeah, I don't know. You just get used to it because you do it all the time. So it just becomes pretty normal. Yeah.
Normal for you, not for most of us. How old are you?
32, gonna be 33 in like 3, 4 days, I think. Yeah, March 1st is my birthday. Yeah.
Happy early birthday. You've done
Well,
quite a
thank you.
lot in a short amount of time.
Been busy.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm you have been busy. I'm 38 and I've only done like 4 trails that I've completed.
Oh, nice. Well,
So
congrats on
I
the
gotta
four
get to
trails.
work to catch up. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. No, I'm trying to keep up against one of my ancestors who did far crazier stuff. He was an Arctic explorer who had to chop off his leg with an ice axe because he had frostbite. Lived up in Greenland with the Inuits. Fought against Nazis during World War II, rescuing Jews and bringing them to Sweden. So I thought like he's considered the most interesting man in the world. I was like, well, if this dude is like he was my great grandfather's cousin, so not terribly related. But I was like, if this dude can do all this stuff, I bet I can outdo this guy. So I've been trying to keep busy to compete with a dead man.
You want to drop a name? Who is this?
Peter Freuchen is his name. Yeah,
Peter Freudkin.
yeah, he's a
Wow.
Danish explorer, and yeah,
I feel like Peter needs his own episode, even if it's not hiking related.
Peter's cool. He
He
wrote this
totally
book.
does.
Yeah, my Instagram handle, Vagrant Vikings. That's his autobiography. That's what it's called. So that's why that's
Oh,
called that.
really? Well, you'll never forget what's driving you, will you?
No, no. Yeah, he's a good reference point to hold on to. So, I mean, that's kind of what we do. You know, you're looking for the next hold in life to pull yourself up, and a lot of times that's various people that you look at and you go like, wow, they've done some great things. Like I want to kind of amount to something along those lines. So, yeah, him and like Steve Irwin, you know, those are people I'm like, yeah, I want to be like those dudes.
Oh my gosh. Steve Irwin, my hero. So you're doing this really crazy thing. Tell everyone what you're doing real quick, and then we'll get into the why.
Yeah, so I'm doing a route that I call the Walk for the Wild. It's the easternmost point of the contiguous United States to its westernmost point. It'll be roughly 8,000 miles. So West Quoddy Head State Park, which is funny enough the easternmost point, that's over in Maine. And then I'll work my way up to the Appalachian Trail up at Mount Katahdin, take that down to where it joins up with the Long Trail, and then jump on the North Country Trail, which is 4,800 miles, take that all the way over to North Dakota, and then I'm going to kind of route find through North Dakota and Montana with a little bit of trails in there. I want to give some love and credit to the Mattahey Trail. It's one of my favorite shorter, long trails. So, and it's just good for filming and everything. There's so much wildlife on that trail. So yeah, go do that, and then once I hit western Montana, be on the CDT, take that up north to the Pacific Northwest Trail, and then 1,200 miles on the Pacific Northwest Trail to the ocean at Cape of Lava, which is the westernmost point of the contiguous United States.
Wow. Do you have a GPX file, or have you already routed this out and plugged it into a phone or a watch, or is this just on a piece of paper or in your
It's just
head?
It's I mean a little bit in the head. It's mostly on like piece of paper, and then I have like some waypoints on Gaia plotted out and things like that. But I do want to leave some of the stuff up for improv, especially whenever I start getting to the route making, because you know the topographical maps typically are 40 feet elevation, and as I've learned, whenever I've done some routes and I look at a spot, I'm like, oh well, that looks pretty chill, and then you get there and it's the issue is that's a 35-foot drop, and you're like, well, it doesn't, you know, it shows it as completely flat, but now I have to climb 35 feet down a Chaucy cliff. So, um, so
You
you
mean
know,
like a USGS map?
yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, Gaia's my favorite app for this stuff. Tells where you are, where water sources are, trails, all that good stuff. So, um, yeah, but yeah, I think the layer that I'll be using is probably just a USGS map. Yeah.
So just to point this out, you are not out here using a far out map with people hiking ahead of you, giving you information on available water sources. This is you out there doing it by yourself.
Yeah, it's been years since I've gotten help from other people with far out and stuff. So I kind of like that. You know, you just look and you're like, well, that looks like a water source, but I don't know. So you kind of carry a little bit extra, and sometimes you'll find water beforehand, and then sometimes you're just like, well, shoot, now I got to be dry for a while. So it's kind of pulls out that adventurous spirit. Yeah.
You are tapping into your ancestry, no doubt here. And when are you starting this hike, and when do you anticipate finishing?
Yeah, so I'm starting May 25th, so it's like 3 months from now, which is pretty exciting. And then I finish. I anticipated I'm finishing probably like October 30th or so. So it's going to be like fairly slow pace wise, about a 16-mile average. But I mean, for 8,000 miles, like it's a lot of walking and a lot of keeping your body up. So I'm trying to pace it. I've never been like an extremely fast hiker, but I'll probably push a couple 40s and stuff in there, but then leave a lot of time for whenever I'm in the Great Lakes to take it a little bit slower in case a big giant blizzard comes through and it'll kill me if I try to hike 40 miles in that. So and then I'm
Yeah,
also
don't
yeah, and I'm also filming the whole thing, making a documentary for it. So there's going to be a lot of times where I'm just setting up the camera and stuff, and that's going to slow down the pace a lot too.
What are you taking out there? An Osmo or a DSLR or a mirrorless?
Just my phone. I don't have that kind of money. Yeah, I'd
We
carry it.
we
Yeah.
need to get you some money.
Yeah, I
We can
mean
do
it.
this.
Yeah, I really would love some sponsorship stuff. It's been so hard to reach out to people. You know, it's I'm not a cute chick and I'm not a cool guy, so they normally don't. You know, it's been always hard to get that attention. So, but yeah,
You
I'm
and me
fighting
both,
for it now.
brother. I'm a 38-year-old married man. It's not quite as enticing as what you were saying.
I mean, I'm a
I got to really
32-year-old
beat the
homeless
squeaky
man.
wheel to get some grease.
Yeah, yeah, you got to put a lot. I understand, but hey, you're doing it, man. You're making it happen. So, yeah, you gotta, you gotta
You're
count
making it
that.
happen.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's working. It's working. So, yeah.
So you got this big project planned. How long did it take you to conceive this idea?
Uh, I mean, I thought about it back in 2023 on the Fourth Crown route, and I would go back and forth on it. You know, I do a lot of daydreaming when I'm through hiking about future adventures, and I was like, oh, I could go do this, and then I was like, but that's like kind of exceeding. I was starting to think of like my human limitations, and I'm like, is that possible for me? And I had like a little humility check where I was like, I don't think I'm physically able to. So I dismissed it. I threw it away. I was just like, I'm fine with like easing out of through hiking. I mean, I started becoming an archaeologist, and this work has been pretty awesome anyway. But then I told myself, once when the election was going on, I heard Trump start talking some stuff about taking public lands, and among a shit ton of other things, but also the Antiquities Act was a big one, where he wanted to remove that, which would essentially get rid of my job that I have, and this is my dream job. Otherwise, I'm just like a dishwasher or a janitor or something. I don't have a degree. I tried to become a professional boxer when I was younger. That was my original career path plan. So, yeah. So then he became president, and I was like, well, shoot, like now I have to do this. And so I was going to do it last year, but I made commitments with my friend to go do the Hayduke Trail, which has been good because then it helps me really blow this up and fine tune it and figure out exactly what I wanted from it. And it just kind of grew and grew into like, I'm tired of making hiking self-serving, being like, oh, look at me, I'm so tough and rough. Look what I can do. I'd rather it be like, I'm like the centerpiece. Let's showcase nature. Let's promote nature. Let's get people interested in nature. Let's inspire people to want to go out and experience it. And the way to get people's attention is by doing something big, historic, and dangerous.
You're not only walking this for awareness, you're not walking the wild just for awareness. You're walking it for charities and for good causes. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I'm the main thing here is by more awareness, people are going to be donating more funding for it as I go along and say, like, a little donation here and there kind of thing, put that up there for people. Maybe do like through Patreon. I was thinking about that. Like then people can read like journal entries, additional photos, videos. My cousin, she's an artist. She wants to do artistic stuff for sections, send out postcards for people. So ways to incentivize people to participate with this to raise then more money. So primarily I have to have money to feed myself, which is, all of my own money. I'm planning on just exhausting all my funds, which isn't much is the issue. But then all the rest of it, I'm going to donate to all these conservation organizations and trail organizations. So, and it'll be all ones that I mostly experienced throughout this route. So like one that I've definitely like pinpointed on is the American Prairie, which is this movement going on in the Great Plains, trying to reintroduce bison and native grasses. They're buying up as much private land as they can and turning into public land. And so want to donate to them, the American Rivers, the North Country Trail, so they can have more funding to build more trail. But Pacific Northwest Trail, the Montana Conservation Corps, I did trail maintenance for them way back in the day. So like to give more money to them because I was paid $6 an hour when I was working with them. So it's it's hard to get people to have a good attitude when they're losing money working. And then YCC, because I worked with them building trails in Washington back in the day.
Wow. What a noble cause, man. I appreciate you and I applaud you for doing this. And you have you've definitely hit the nail on the head because not only has Trump been talking about it, he's been doing these things. The roadless rule has been effectively rescinded. I mean, he's trying to appoint someone as head of the BLM who thinks that we have too much public land as is, and it's constantly nickel and diming away at all this progress that we've made towards conservation. Relaxing the Endangered Species Act, EPA regulations, NEPA, all these things. So it's good and awesome and wonderful that you're bringing awareness to this because there are so many people doing it on social media and all these news articles, but you get inundated with this stuff and eventually you become numb to it. But to see somebody walking and talking about it, this is different and this is big.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of different angles I'm coming at with it, and from doing a little like spell casting, I'll take a vial of water from the Atlantic with a little prayer with it, and carry that to the Pacific and dump it in there for protection of our public lands. To little things like as I'm walking along to pick up trash, to yeah, just promoting these areas and like I'll be going through boundary waters, and that is such a vital spot right now, such an important spot politically that's going on. So I definitely want to showcase just how beautiful that area is, and what a shame if we destroy that area.
Definitely. Oh my gosh. It's also frustrating. How do you juggle hearing all these jabs to the nature and the wildlife that you love? How do you handle that and keep going outside and keep fighting for it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, I grew up as a boxer, so I'm used to fighting. That's one thing, and you can take a lot of philosophy from it. And one of the tactics that our system is doing is using overwhelmment. It's a pressure fighter, which is it is the style that I grew up doing. I'm a pressure fighter. I've always you close the gap, and when someone takes a step back, you punch them in the gut, and you make sure they can't breathe. And if they don't have oxygen, their body doesn't work. Their legs quit working. They fall over, and that's how you can beat a lot of people. You overwhelm them. That's what they're doing to us. So I know exactly about that style, and I know exactly the counterattack to that kind of style. That kind of style doesn't do good against a counterpuncher or an outfighter, someone who takes a step back and can see what they're doing. And then every time that they go and do an attack, then you can see it clearly from a good distance and then utilize against it. And so it's keeping a clean mind the whole time, not getting worked up with it. There a lot of it's poison, they're throwing so much negativity and vileness towards us, things that we hate, that it can drive you crazy, and that kind of emotion doesn't do you any good. It cripples you long term. It just makes you angry, and it affects your relationships with your loved ones and your family. So the best way to fight that is to keep a calm mind, keep optimistic, be patient, be persistent, and yeah, just look for any faults that they're doing and utilize against it. And that's how you take down a pressure fighter like our government.
And I think that a lot of people who love just the outdoors and a lot of conservationists are doing exactly what you just said. So it's nice to hear you put it to practical words like you just did. I'm not a fighter, but I understand that.
Yeah, it's not a complicated sport, and that's the nice part about it. So the metaphors can work well.
Well, and also there's it's a smokescreen situation as well because there's like you said, there's so much happening that it's hard to see what the big issue is that's happening. And I think at least for me, and if I'm so bold as to speak for you too, what's happening, the big problem is the utilization and the harvest of our natural resources.
Yeah, I mean, like with my job with archaeology, we work a lot of times with like gold mining companies or oil companies and things like that. But all of us, we're environmentalists at heart. That's why we're in this field. We like hiking and camping, and we see the beauty of nature. And so we're all looking for the really nice artifacts, so that way we can tell them, I'm sorry, you can't build here. and it's worked against them a couple of times. But it's been really cool to work in a career where I get to see very firsthand this battle on public and private land. And we work primarily in the Great Basin out here in Nevada. And it is such a big battlefield out here because Nevada in the lower 48 has the most public land and has the most BLM land. And as you mentioned, the attack on BLM land right now with a guy directing it who doesn't look out for its best interests. He's looking at
Steve
extracting it.
Pierce, yeah.
Yeah. So it's, we gotta, yeah, with people like that, I mean, they're very directly attacking my job, my career, the people that I love, and everything like that. And I think anyone in that position would be willing to fight to protect what they love and yeah, what they care about.
And I think, yeah, I think a lot of us who are hearing this and who even just us hikers, backpackers, through hikers, there's something we can do, even though it might feel like there's not a lot you can do. Like us, I mean, I've definitely felt very angry and I felt very powerless. So I started turning these conservation corner conversations into actual episodes because I think that they deserve the spotlight. I mean, you can go out and pick up trash. Like anything that you can do to make our natural spaces better is huge. And not only is it the act, but if other people see you doing that, then that's you living by example and being a good steward. And maybe that will incentivize other people to do just the same or different.
Absolutely. And especially like in a situation like this where I'm trying to, you know, kind of take that spirit of Steve Irwin where you're doing conservationist work, but you're getting people interested and excited about it. That's how you inspire people to do more good. That's how you get more people on your team. You go out there and you clean up trash and you show how easy it is and show how beautiful the world is without trash everywhere. And it just makes people want to be more like that because it makes them feel good. It releases dopamine in their head. We're all drug-seeking animals, so yeah, whether it's running or hiking or anything like that, doing good for people, if it releases dopamine, we're going to seek after that. And so the key is to show people that this stuff does feel good. Nature feels good, hiking feels good, doing good feels good, and to really, really utilize that.
That is some sage advice. You heard it from Megaman, the man who is mega. I want folks to know where they can follow along your journey. And I don't know how or what just yet, but I'm determined to get you out there.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that because it's going to take a team for this. But yeah, my Instagram's always been like my big one. So it's vagrant underscore Viking 93. And yeah, if you see a dude with a big old blonde beard, that's me. My name's Wesley Tills. You can always just add me on Facebook because I do it on there too. YouTube, I do it, but I don't think I'm in the algorithm. Like if you search my name or search my handle, which is Wild West, it doesn't really show up. But if you search like Wild West Florida Trail, Wild West Black Hills Centennial Trail, Superior Hiking Trail, whatever, you'll find me then. And then TikTok, which I think is just Vagrant Viking. Yeah, I'm doing all of them.
And what about possible locations for anything that you write up or a list of your charities if folks would like to donate to those?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just a GoFundMe that I have. And as the hike gets closer and things get more specified, then we can start putting it, people can pick specific ones. Right now it's just a coverall. I've reached out to a couple of them, but it's also been like so far in advance. I don't think that they're showing too much interest. But once I become my hope is to have it spotlighted, and then by spotlighting myself on this adventure, then they're all of a sudden going to have a change of attitude and be wanting me to spotlight them. So
Definitely, especially once you're on it.
that's where it's going to explode. It's right now I'm just being proactive, but once when I'm out there, it's gonna explode, I'm sure.
Right on. Well, first we got to get you some money to sustain yourself, and then the charities.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I'm not against. Yeah, I'm not against sitting there outside with the sign, begging for food, playing my mouth harp to get people to buy me groceries. So it's whatever it takes to make this happen. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make an impact. So
You absolutely will. I want to wrap up here quickly, but I do want to ask you one final question, and this is going to be something for the listeners. Like I was saying earlier, it's kind of easy to get disheartened and think that your actions as one single person don't make much of an impact. What would you tell someone who's a bit hesitant and thinks that, their actions might do just as much good as inaction?
I think a lot of times people should kind of push away just the idea of like that disheartening thoughts and instead just go to that chances are you're just going to live once on this planet, and dignity is super important for your well-being as an individual. And so just go out and do good, and good is good, whether that's, just listening to somebody, helping out people, feeding some birds, whatever you can do, go just just do good. Just make the world a better, happier place. Don't be afraid of it. People will shame you and people will put you down and throw all their poison. Just remember that's all negativity and you don't have to accept that. Just be a spotlight of happiness and inspiration, and whether it makes an impact or not, the main thing is that you're going to die at some point, and you can be on your deathbed and said, I did a damn good job. I sure tried, didn't I? And A for effort, and that's all we can ask for.
That's a good note to end on. Thank you so much, Megaman, for being on the show and talking to us about this project you have going on. All the links to Megaman's socials and everywhere that you can find it, they'll be in the show notes, so you don't have to go back and listen to that and try and type it out. But thank you for being on the show, folks. Thanks for listening and taking the time to hear about his project. And let's all do our part and do what we can as individuals, but also support Megaman on this project, because I think this is something big and it's going to make some monumental waves. Huge shout out to The Fire Once Lost for our intro and outro music. That track is called Appalachian Trail. Thank you so much, Anders, for that. We really appreciate you, man. If you want to reach out to us, if you have any questions or would like to hear any other specific Environmental Corner topics, you can. Just send us an email to yetiwalksintobasecamp@gmail.com. Super easy. Name of the podcast @gmail.com. And to wrap up, I just want you to know that if you're out there hiking, if you're out there doing whatever you're doing, just remember that at the end of the day, we're all just outside walking. Hey everyone, Yeti Legs here. We just wanted to let you know that here at Yeti Walks into Base Camp, we do not use AI for any of our editing, recording, social media, or image generation. Everything is done by hand by our team, and that's how we want it to stay. The use of AI has detrimental effects on our environment, and we want no part of it. So we hope you enjoyed this episode that was hand edited by our team with talent and integrity.